The initial intent of the Bandolier was to be a non-fragmenting charge for a soldier-borne, soldier-carried. The idea was a line charge, a very highly effective line charge for clearing a path from point A to point B to get safely across that path. We developed it with the intent of maximizing the amount of ground pressure and energy that can go into the ground, but keeping the weight to a very reasonable, we were driven to keep it as light as possible, and the Bandolier solution evolved from those requirements. The Bandolier is, overall, it's a 35-foot line charge, effectively. It's packaged in a nice tight module for being soldier wearable. It's made of 3 sections right now, a 5-foot section, a 10-foot section, and a 20-foot section. It has several degrees of flexibility. The way it's designed is so that it can conform over the ground, so you can get nice laydown patterns. So as you deploy the Bandolier itself, it'll lay flat over contours of uneven ground.
There's several different ways you can actually use the Bandolier. You can bunch it up in a bulk charge, or you can lay it down on the ground. You can use this simultaneously with a couple of them side by side, which means you'd have more of a clearance lane. You can actually use this as a linear charge on a door.
Fire in the hole!
It's probably more field expedient than any C4 that we use.
Bandolier line charge is a modular charge. Each section is packaged individually. So the 5-foot section is shown in a small kind of a molly pack where it can be fit like a canteen on a soldier. It comes apart, it's easily recognizable, comes apart simply and accessible. It can be used as a bulk charge in its package form. It also comes out as a nice flexible line charge. This one that you're seeing in front of you is a 5-foot charge that can easily be linked together with the 10 and the 20-foot charge.
They're very easy to connect. You have a Velcro here, which you connect here, and then you have a connector. You just snap into place. And it's very hard to pull apart, as you can see this. So it's very, very, very strong. You can also tie these off anywhere you need to. You have strings, which all these Velcro, which you can disconnect, and you can tie this off anywhere you want to.
And there's also a leash at the end points here. In the case of a robotic deployment, you have a long leash, up to 30-foot leash, where you pull out, and that's used as a mechanism for a safe standoff, where they can pull it and cap in place where they're far enough away from the Bandolier charge.
So what they're going to end up doing is taking a robot and they're going to take it across a minefield, all right, and then they're going to deploy the robot. And that time they're going to have the actual cord. They're going to bring the cord back. They're going to find a way to unravel the cord back to the sapper. Therefore, there's no sapper exposure whatsoever to the minefield. So it's going to be proficient, it's going to be effective, and you're not going to have any of these soldiers exposed to any enemy fire.
As a cutting charge, what we've seen is the Army engineers will actually take the Bandolier and cut it into sections. And because it has a higher relative effectiveness than the standard C4 they use right now, they'll take the RDX and they will place it in 2 different positions, say for example on an I-beam that's separate, and come up with a shear configuration. And they don't need to use as much charge to get the same effects.
The relative effectiveness, the RE factor of C4 is 1.34. With this is actually a 1.63, which means you're getting more of a cutting agent with this than you actually would with C4.
As a tree cutting charge for landing zones, it's quite a convenient tool in that it's all pre-packaged and ready to go. So just basically, effectively, you wrap the Bandolier around, you tie at the ends, you cap in, and you can, in a very short period of time, take down a tree or timbers. Found quite frequently is when you get a new device in the hands of a user, the original intent is not always the only intent. In fact, quite often there are several derivatives that you could go after, and they'll get creative with applications. So beyond the standard applications that we talked about today, they will find other ways to use it in their favor.
It's lightweight, it's more mobile, it's quicker time to reduce, and it's less time for a sapper to actually be in a breach.